Hi guys, welcome back to my read along channel. This is Starring Tracy Beaker by Jaqueline Wilson. It's all Jaqueline Wilson's own work, just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. Today we're starting on page 88, so let's get going. He jumped again, his tongue nervously licking the white foam of his lips. Come in my room a second, I commanded. Peter caught his breath. He backed into my bedroom obediently and stood with his back against my vampire bat poster. His fist clenched as if he was facing a firing squad. It's okay, Peter, I said. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm sorry if I annoyed you with my petition idea. I know it was a bit silly and maybe pointless, but I felt so bad about you not being in the play anymore, and I just wanted to do something. I was just being bad-tempered pig at breakfast. I didn't mean to get cross with you, Pete. I think your petition's a lovely idea. Nobody's ever put me in a petition before. I don't see that it will achieve anything, but I think it's ever so sweet of you. You're a very special friend. Thank you ever so much. Peter still didn't move, but he went raspberry red and blinked at me rapidly. Oh, Tracy, he said. I gave him a little pat on the head. He tried to give me a big hug, but I wasn't prepared to go that far. Hey, watch out, you're wiping toothpaste all over me. Come on, we'll be late for school. So can I carry on with my petition? Feel free, though I doubt you'll get many people to sign it on account of the fact that I'm not the most popular girl in school. Have the kids already signed it? Yeah, all of them. Well, Justine hasn't quite managed to get around to it yet, but I'll keep badgering her. Oh, Peter, you couldn't badger anyone. You wait and see, Tracy. I'll have the whole school to sign the petition. You have to be in the play. You're totally brilliant at acting Scrooge. You're wasting your time, Pete, but thanks anyway, I said. It's great that you've got such faith in my acting abilities. Tell you what, when I'm grown up and a famous movie star, just like my mum, I'll let you be my agent, okay? This perked him up to no end, but it had the opposite effect on me. Just mentioning my mum made me want to start howling again, but I had to go to school and control all my emotion. Yesterday I screamed and shrieked. Today I was going to be calm and in control to show everyone that Tracy Beaker is one tough cookie, able to cope with incredible public humiliation without turning a hair. It wasn't as easy as that. I jumped out of the dumping ground minivan and walked into school as nonchalantly as possible, but everyone in the playground turned and stared and pointed at me. A group of little kids actually stood round me in a circle, as if they could turn me on like a television and watch the Tracy Beaker freak show. The kids staring at me wasn't the worst part. It was the teachers. They were crazily kind to me. Miss Brown actually hovered by my desk when she was collecting up my maths homework and said softly, "How are you doing, Tracy?" "Not too good, Miss Brown," I muttered. "I don't suppose you managed to get your maths homework done last night?" "I was kind of otherwise engaged," I said. "Oh well, not to worry, you can do it in the lunch hour." "Okay, I've got all the time in my world in my lunch hour now," I said, sighing heavily. The lunch hour was dreadful. Peter and Louise and Justine and all the other kids in A Christmas Carol rushed up to the hall to rehearse without me. I stayed in the classroom all by myself and did my maths homework. The inky numbers on my page kept blurring and blotching as if they were being rained on. I used up 2 tissues and my sleeve mopping up. I whizzed along the cloakroom just before the start of the afternoon school to splash cold water on my face and bumped into Miss Simpkins. She had Gloria Taylor, Emily Lawson and Amy Jellicoe with her. They were all looking up at her hopefully, eyes huge like puppies in Battlesea's dog home going, "Pick me, Miss Simpkins." "Oh, Tracy," I said, Miss Simpkins. She waved a hand at Gloria and Emily. "Amy, run along, girls. I'll let you know tomorrow," she said. They gave me a pitying glance and then off they ran obediently. "They've been auditioning for Scrooge, haven't they?" I say flatly. "Yes, they have," said Miss Simpkins. She lowered her voice to whisper, "and they all tried their best. But strictly between you and me and Tracy, they're rubbish compared to you. So which one are you going to pick, Miss Simpkins?" "I don't know," she said, sighing. "It's such a big part and there's hardly any time left to learn it. Gloria's the only girl who can learn it all by heart. She runs up through like a railway station announcer, with no expression whatsoever. Emily can at least act a little, but she can't remember 2 consecutive lines, so she have the script in her hands the whole time, and that would spoil things. So are you going to choose Amy for Scrooge? Amy is so sweet and soft, and she can barely make herself heard, and she can't act bad-tempered to save her life. She just doesn't convince us, Scrooge. Whereas I can act bad-tempered till the cows come home, I said. Yes, you are my magnificent Scrooge, she said, sighing. Until Miss Darlow spoiled everything, I said. No, Tracy, until you spoiled everything, said Miss Simpkins, although I know you were severely provoked. I tried explaining the circumstances to Mrs. Darlow in vain, I'm sorry to say. Well, thank you, Miss Simpkins, I said. I'm sorry I mucked it all up. It seems a shame that you've got to pay so dearly for it, said Miss Simpkins. You don't know the half of it, I said darkly. I'm paying for it with knobs on. Even back at home I'm acting as the unpaid skivvy clearing up after the kids. Isn't that unbelievably unfair? I think you should report them to the MSPCC, okay? I'll think about it, said Miss Simpkins, but she was struggling hard not to laugh. I certainly did feel like laughing when I came home utterly exhausted from school to have Jenny and hands me the hoover and Mike thrust the mop and bucket at me. I've been secretly hoping that this was one big bluff. I was outraged to realise they really meant to go through with it. Let me have my tea first, for pity's sake, I said. I took my time munching my banana wholemeal sandwich and my handful of nuts, my orange and apple juice, or for the days of unhealthy eating when we wolfed down crisps and chocolate and cakes and Coke. Then I stumped off to my room to change out of my school uniform and put on my oldest jeans and faded t-shirt. I stopped to look at the postcard from Mum on my notice board. I suddenly felt so sad I had to lie on my bed with my head under my pillow, just in case anyone overheard my sudden attack of hay fever. I was still sniffly when I trailed down the stairs, sighing considerably. No one was around to hear me. The other kids all seemed to be whispering together in the kitchen. It was all right for some ugly people. Poor little Cinderella Beaker had to stay home and tackle all the chores. I picked up the hoover, switched it on and started shoving it backwards and forwards across the hall. It was so heavy, so clumsy, so awkward. My arms were aching and my back hurt from bending over already, and yet I'd done one weeny patch of carpet. I had the whole huge dumping ground to render spotless. I banged the hoover violently into the skirting board and gave it a kick. I was only wearing soft shoes. It hurt horribly. I switched to the hateful hoover off and doubled up, nursing my poor stubbed toes. I heard more whisperings and gigglings. Shut up, you lot, I snarled. Peter popped his head round the kitchen door. Tracy, are you okay? I'm absolutely in the pink, I said sarcastically. In the rose pink, salmon pink, petunia pink. Not. How do you think I feel, knowing I've got the tremendous task of cleaning up the dumping grounds single-handed? Not quite single-handed, said Peter. Come on, gang. All the kids suddenly sprang out the kitchen into the hall. Peter stood in front, jersey sleeves rolled up his puny little arms, a tea towel tied round his waist like a pinny. They were all clutching dusters and mops and brushes and pans, and Louise was there, her long hair tied up in a scarf. Justine sloped out at last, wearing Mike's stripy cooking apron and wielding a scrubbing brush. We're all going to do the cleaning, said Peter. It seems so horribly mean that you had to do it all, so we're helping out. It'll be fun. Not my idea of fun, you little runt, said Justine, juggling her scrubbing brush. Louise caught it and held on to it. It was just as much our fault as yours, Tracy, she said. We all got mad, so Peter's right. We should all channel our aggression into housework. So, okay, troops, let's get cracking, Peter said. He looked at me. Okay, Tracy. For once I was totally speechless. I nodded very hard and blinked very hard, hoped very hard that I wouldn't utterly disgrace myself, and how. We let funny little Peter order us around, telling each of us what to do because it was easier than us big ones arguing about it. We put radios playing the loudest rock and rap music in every corner of the dumping ground, and then set with a vengeance. Elaine the Pain came calling halfway through. She cowered backwards, covering her ears, but when Jenny and Mike explained, having to bellow a bit, she clapped her hands excitedly and went prancing around, congratulating everyone for their team spirit. It reflects the very essence of Christmas, loving and sharing and caring, she said, jamming her reindeer antlers on her head and rushing around, giving everyone a little pat on the back. It's a wonder Elaine ridiculous reindeer pain didn't make them think, what on earth am I doing scrubbing away when I could be watching the telly or playing on my Xbox, or simply lounging on my bed picking my nose because I definitely don't love Tracy Beaker, and I don't care tuppence about her, and I certainly don't want to share her stupid punishment. But somehow they took no notice and carried on dusting and scrubbing and scouring and hoovering. I felt as if all the dirty, grubby, grimy, greasy little bits of me were getting clean and polished too. Maybe they did like me just a little bit after all. I still had some stuff left over from my raid on the art cupboard. That night I laboured long and hard over a big card. I drew the dumping grounds, all of us guys outside, armed with dusters and brushes and mops. I even drew Justine properly, though it was very tempting to cross her eyes and scribble little bogies hanging out from her nose. I put me in the centre with a big beaming smile. I drew little rays of sunshine all around my picture, and then I printed it at the top in dead artistic rainbow lettering. The Tracy Beaker cleaning service. Thanks for your help, everyone. I crept downstairs and snuck it on the table so that everyone would see it at breakfast time. I snappled half a packet of cornflakes and an orange so I could have breakfast in my room. I didn't want to be hanging around when they saw the card. It would be way too embarrassing. I wasn't used to acting all mushy and saying thank you. I'd have to watch it. I was used to being the toughest kid on the block. It would be fatal to soften up now. I tried to be normal, fierce and feisty self at school. I summoned up all my energy to cheat the teachers and argue with the kids, but it was hard work. I found myself sharing my chocolate bar with Peter in the playground and picking up some little kid who had fallen over and kicking someone's ball straight back to them, acting like Miss Goody 2 trainers instead of the tough and terrible Tracy Beaker. When everyone went to rehearse A Christmas Carol, I wondered which of the three Stooges Miss Simpkins had picked as Scrooge. I couldn't help being glad that they were all pretty useless. Halfway through the first lesson in the afternoon, Mrs. Darlow sent for me. "Oh, Tracy," said Miss Brown sorrowfully, "what have you been up to now?" "Nothing, Miss Brown," I said. "I've been a positive angel all day." Miss Brown didn't look as if she believed me. I couldn't really blame her. She wasn't to know I was this new, squeaky clean, sweet as honey Beaker. I plodded along to Mrs. Darlow's study, wondering if she was going to blame me for someone else's misdemeanour. Maybe she'd think I'd written the very rude rhyme in the girls' toilets. Maybe she'd think I'd superglued some teacher's chair. Maybe she'd think I'd climbed up the drain pipe after I lost a ball and pulled the pipe right off the wall in the process. I had done all these things in the past, but not recently. Still, I would doubtless be blamed. I sighed wearily and knocked on Mrs. Darlow's door, deciding that there was no point protesting my total innocence to such a grim and unforgiving woman. She was doubtless preparing to punish Tracy Beaker severely. I saw her selecting her whippiest whip, her thumb crunchers, her nose tweakers, clearing her desk of superfluous paperwork so she could stretch me across it as if I was on a torture rack. I'd crawl out of the school leashed into bloody strips, thumbs mangled, nose pulled past my chin, stretched out and out like elastic. Mrs. Darlow was wearing her severest black trouser suit. She sat at her desk, her chin in her hands, frowning at me over the top of her glasses. "Come and sit down, Tracy Beaker," she said. She always says my name in full, though there isn't another Tracy in the whole school. "How are you today?" she inquired. "Not especially happy, Mrs. Darlow," I said. "Neither am I, Tracy Beaker, neither am I," she said. She took hold of the large wad of paper scribbled all over with lots of names. "Do you know what this is?" I paused. I had a feeling that this wasn't the time to say pieces of paper. "I don't know, Mrs. Darlow," seemed a safer bet. I truly didn't know. The handwriting wasn't mine. It was all different writing, some neat, some scrawly in black, blue, red, all the colours of the rainbow. "This is a petition to reinstate you as Scrooge in the school play," said Mrs. Darlow. "Oh goodness, Peter's petition," I said. "Are you sure you didn't put him up to it, Tracy Beaker?" "Absolutely not," I said, "but he's got heaps and heaps of signatures." "Yes, he has, though I've scrutinised every page and some of the signatures are duplicated, and I'm not sure Mickey Mouse, Homer Simpson, Robbie Williams and Beyonce are actually pupils at this school." My mouth twitched. I was scared I was going to get the giggles, and yet my eyes were pricking as if I had a bout of hay fever coming on. All those signatures. I thought of Peter going round and round and round the whole school with his petition, and all those kids signing away wanting me in the play. "Peter's obviously a very kind friend," said Mrs. Darlow. "Yes, he is," I said humbly. "I'm rather impressed by his initiative and perseverance. When he delivered the petition this morning, he was trembling all over. but he still made his own personal, impassioned plea. He stated accurately, and there is no other girl remotely like you, Tracy Beaker. I smiled. He meant it as a compliment. I didn't, said Mrs. Darlow. I felt very sorry for poor Peter when I told him that it was highly unlikely I would change my mind, even though I was very impressed by his petition. Oh, I said, slumping in my chair. Then I had a visit from Miss Simpkins at the lunchtime. She's already tried to plead your cause, Tracy Beaker. She's told me that your appalling assault wasn't entirely unprovoked. However, I've explained to her that I can never condone violent behaviour, no matter what the circumstances. I sighed and slumped further down the chair. However, said Mrs. Darlow, I stiffened. Miss Simpkins invited me along to the rehearsal. The play itself is progressing perfectly. Everyone's worked so hard. I watched Gloria and Amy play Scrooge one after the other. They tried extremely hard. In fact, I awarded them 5 team points each for endeavour. Unfortunately, though, none of the girls was born an actress, and although they tried their best, I could see that their performance were a little lacking. I clenched my fist. Miss Simpkins stressed that your performance as Scrooge was extraordinary. Tracy Beaker, I am very aware that this is a public performance in front of all the parents. My mum's coming, I whispered. Is this a showcase event? And I therefore want everything to be perfect. I don't want all that hard work and effort to be wasted. I've decided to reinstate you, Tracy Beaker. You may play Scrooge after all. Oh, Mrs. Darlow, you are a total angel, I said, sitting bolt upright and clapping my hands. I'm not sure you're going to think me so totally angelic by the time I finish, Tracy Beaker, I said. I said violent behaviour can never be condoned. You must be severely punished in some way or the other. Anyway, Mrs. Darlow, be as inventive as you like. Whips, thumbscrews, nose tweakers, the rack, whatever. I think I'll select more mundane punishment, Tracy Beaker, though the nose tweaker sounds tempting, said Mrs. Darlow, and appropriate in the circumstances as you hit poor Justine on her nose. However, I'm not sure the school's petty cash can quite cover the instrument of torture. We are already well stocked with cleaning implements, so we will stick with those. Cleaning implements, Mrs. Darlow, I said. Oh no, I've already had to clean the entire dumping ground. I mean, the home. You're not asking me to clean the whole school. As if I'd ask you to do that, said Mrs. Darlow. I might not be angelic, but I'm reasonable. I think I should just ask you to clean the whole floor. If we're having all those guests, then we can't have the setting looking downright scruffy. I'd like you to stay after school for half an hour every evening and polish up the parquet. It will not only enhance the look at the school, it will also act as a channel for your aggression. My aggression's already been thoroughly channeled, Mrs. Darlow, I said. But all right, I will. I will polish the whole hall until we can see straight up our skirts, just so long as my mum will be able to see me act Scrooge. I don't know if you've ever done any serious polishing. Your hands hurt, your arms ache, your neck twinges, your back's all bent, and your knees get rubbed raw. Even your toes get scrunched up and sore. Think of the size of a school hall. Think of me. Long did I labour. Dear old Peter and some of the other kids tried to sneak into the hall to help me out, but Mrs. Darlow didn't appreciate this kind of caring and sharing teamwork. It's Tracy Beaker's punishment, not yours. I want her to labour on her own, she said. So labour I did, but I kept a copy of the play in front of me as I polished. I went over and over my lines in my head. It was actually quite a good way of learning them, rubbing along a line of shiny wood while muttering a long line of Scrooge speak. Okay guys, I read a little bit extra today because I'm on a really nice chill day, so that was really nice to read. We are finishing on page 110, so we've read quite a few pages. Thank you again for listening, guys. I'm really enjoying the book. We're not actually, I think we're just over halfway, which is quite nice really. There's 173 pages, so yeah, we are over halfway now, which is quite nice. But without further ado, I just want to say thank you for listening again. Looking forward to reading another read along at some point soon, and I will hopefully see you again soon. Thank you guys, goodbye.